Hello, I'm Joe Pasquale, and if like me you're fascinated by the whole steampunk genre and you like Victorian detective mysteries, you like a bit of magic, musical, science fiction, a lot of laughs, then you're in the right place, because we're going to be talking about a book which is a sequel to the original one 2 years ago, and it was called Steam, Smoke and Mirrors. And the new one is called the Lazarus Curiosity, and I have the author with us today. His name is Colin Edmonds, and this is the man we're talking to.
Hello, Joe.
Colin, thanks for joining us today. Looking at you, and I've known you for many years, you know what I'm going to say?
Yeah.
You obviously love the steampunk genre.
I absolutely love it.
You immerse yourself in it. You don't just love it, you actually look at what you've done. Now, I know you spend a lot of time putting this stuff together, look at the skull, but you don't just put it on for show. You actually, you have this skull ring, you have the skull on your little neckerchief there. Mm. These are so meticulously placed. Yeah. There's a bit of OCD going on here as well, isn't there?
Do you think? I like the symmetry. No, actually, I love the Victorian garb. I love Victorian costumes. But you see, some people can actually rock a top hat.
I don't think you're not one of them, though, are you?
Unfortunately,
you're not.
So do you mind if I take this off?
No, take it off by all means. Yeah, yeah. Take.
When we were here last time, of course.
Yeah.
I had a top hat which didn't really fit me.
Yeah. This one fits you, though.
Do you think?
Yeah, it does definitely fit you, but still don't suit you, though. It doesn't suit you, love. I'm not going to lie.
Do you mind if I take it off?
Oh, please take it off. I'd prefer you to take it off anyway. But you do you think that you were born at a time? Would you have liked to have been born in that era, do you think?
What I love about the Victorian era was that they took such meticulous trouble over the design of everything. Those old Victorian music halls and theatres, the ones that are still standing, you look around, they're beautiful. Yeah. They're so beautifully designed. Yeah. And you play, as a performer, you play municipal halls, which are great, but they're very stark.
No, as you just said, if you go back to the Frank Matcham days, exactly. They're just called Matcham Theatres now, due to Frank building them all those years ago and designing them. They're just amazing. The atmosphere that you go in. If you could take the City Varieties, for example, I was at the Leeds City Varieties a few weeks ago, and just walking on that stage, knowing that Charlie Chaplin played there and Laurel and Hardy, every musical star of the day, Little Titch, everybody worked those rooms, and you can feel it. And the audience feel it as well when you walk in. So I do think you're slightly out of time. But speaking of time, it was 2 years ago that you wrote Steam, Smoke and Mirrors, which was very successful, very popular. Why has it taken you 2 years to come up with the sequel?
I was very keen to get on with the sequel as quickly as possible, because in my new capacity as an author, as a writer, that's what I wanted to do. But then I got the offer to make a television documentary about Bob Monkhouse, a three-part, 1 hour, 1 hours of this documentary called Bob Monkhouse, the Million Joke Man. And you know, it was one of those jobs that I couldn't turn down. I wanted to get on with the book, but I thought, no, if another producer came in to produce The Million Joke Man, Bob Monkhouse, then I'd resent it. Yeah. And I'd be sitting there thinking, no, I wish I was doing it. I wish I hadn't said no. So I said yes. And of course, as you know better than anyone in television, it takes a long time. Yeah. 18 months of my life was spent on it. The show, which was hosted by Paul O'Grady, was very popular, and I had a ball doing it. And what it was, I'm so pleased I did it, because it was a bookend to my comedy career, really. I started writing jokes for Bob Monkhouse at the beginning, and I ended up strangely producing Bob Monkhouse at the end, and that was a nice conclusion. So now I can move on with all my vigour as an author, writing my steampunk novels. You're
known primarily to me, as a light entertainment writer. How scary was it to go from writing light entertainment jokes for people like myself and Bob to doing this? Is that a scary thing for you to do or not?
Daunting.
Yeah.
Because having written for 40 years, I've been writing since I was 16, writing jokes, I knew the grammar of writing, and I'd read enough novels and short stories and stuff to know pretty much how to put one together. Oddly enough, Steam, Smoke and Mirrors started as a television pilot that was never made. I wrote the script about a music hall magician and his assistant investigating X-Files type mysteries. Yeah. And I took it to an eminent producer called Jeffrey Posner and said, what do you think? And he said, yeah, I quite like this. They couldn't sell it because at that time, Ripper Street was in production.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, and of course, Ripper Street was superseded Steam, Smoke and Mirrors, and I'm glad it did.
But just as I do, it's not steampunk though. It's not.
No, but it was Victorian.
It's Victorian, but it's not. I don't think it encroaches on what you've written at all.
No, indeed. But bear in mind, Joe, those productions with full Victorian garb are very expensive to make.
Yeah.
And that put off an awful lot of producers who were very flattering about the characters and the story, but saying, we can't afford this. What I found fascinating was that in having the script rejected and having it sitting on the shelf for a long time, and then Catherine, my wife, saying, rather than sitting around moping, why don't you turn Steampunk Mirrors into a novel? And I thought, well, the characters are there, the story's there.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Fascinating point I wanted to make was that how much the script differed from the book. The book is so much better than the television script. The characters are more defined. Yeah. The comedy's better. Yeah. The story is a much more exciting story. So in a way, I'm glad that Jeff and David at Positive Productions couldn't get my script away, despite their best intentions. Yeah. I'm glad they couldn't, because it enabled me to write this book, and it's so much better. And now, here we are 2 years later. Yeah. Book 2, The Lazarus Curiosity, is published by Caffeine Night. So, what can we expect in this second book? What actually happens in it, Cole? The mysteries get even more bizarre. Yeah. Proper kind of weird fiction mysteries. For example, Michael and Phoebe are asked by Scotland Yard to investigate the reasons behind an arm sticking out through a solid locked door at the Bank of England. Just an arm. Yeah. Chopped off at one side, and it's just hanging there. Okay. Which is mysterious. So Scotland Yard sent for Michael and Phoebe to figure out what's going on there. Yeah. The Prince of Wales is getting himself involved in some black magic. There's the chance that he could attain perpetual youth by having a black magician paint a kind of picture of Dorian Gray. Oh, nice. And Oscar Wilde's involved in that particular plot as well. Okay. Oscar Wilde has his painting painted by this black magician, and it's true. It's not true at all, because it's in a book. But what happens is that the painting physically gets older, while Oscar Wilde does get younger. Mm. And the Prince of Wales hears about this, and Lily Langtry says, I think you should try that. And what the government don't want is for this black magician to paint a portrait of the Prince of Wales, because, think of those headlines. So there's an awful lot of that conspiracy theory kind of mystery that Michael and Phoebe are asked to get involved in and solve, because the police can't solve it. And what I love personally about Steampunk Mirrors is that Michael and Phoebe debunk an awful lot of mysteries and conspiracies and stuff like that. And as now with modern day technology, the government knows an awful lot more about us than we would rather like them to have. Yeah. And I'll try to make that clear in Victorian times. That was the case in Victorian times as well, in this particular narrative. I think nothing's changed in those days, really. It's exactly the same, as other than technology has moved us forward on it, but those still same principles of conspiracy theories were going on then as they are now. I don't think anything's changed at all. How do you think your friendship with Paul Daniels over the years influenced the writing of the magic stuff? Do you think that was a big influence on a lot of it? Well, I don't think you can work with Paul Daniels and not be influenced by his absolute work ethic. Yeah. And also the trouble that he took over those tricks. There was a reason why he was the most famous magician in the country. Yeah, I agree. Love him or not, I loved him. Yeah. He worked so hard on those tricks, and he cared so much about magic as an art. And I learned a lot from him from that. Yeah. I didn't work on too many of the magic shows, only towards the end of his career. I worked predominantly on his game shows. But do you know, as a game show host, he approached the game shows as sedulously as he did the magic. Oh, I know he did, yeah, I know. And Michael's very much like Paul Daniels in the sense that... Yes, I found that was one of the reasons I brought that up, for that reason, yeah. He's so meticulous. Yeah. And I'm fascinated by magic, because if Steampunk Mirrors is about anything, and the Lazarus Curiosity is about anything, it's about secrets. People keeping secrets from one another, and of course the secrets of magic. Now, the first one ends on a big cliffhanger. Does it pick up straight at the end where the first one ends? Absolutely. I left the last book, as you know, with Michael Magister, my lead character, in 1899, mentioning President George W. Bush. Yeah. ... Yeah. The end. So that suggests maybe there's a time travel element here. Okay. Because time travel does figure vaguely in steampunkery in general. Yeah. And so that enabled me to leave the reader on that cliffhanger, pick it up in book 2, and explore the secrets that Michael's keeping from Phoebe, his associate, and also develop further secrets that Phoebe is keeping from Michael.
Would you say there was a format to follow, like a blueprint that you followed for the second one that you followed from the first one, or was it completely different? How would you assimilate that?
The characters are doing the same thing. My characters, two musical magicians.
Phoebe and Michael.
Yeah. They're still working at the Metropolitan Theatre of Steam, Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah.
Which was a theatre that really existed on the Edgware Road, not far from where I was born. The Met Edgware Road was a famous theatre back in musical times. So I've appropriated that. I've called that the Metropolitan Theatre of Steam, Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah.
Sure. And they're still working for Superintendent William Melville, who really existed.
Yeah.
And he was the head of the special branch at Scotland Yard. And what Michael and Phoebe do is investigates those strange, mysterious, bizarre crimes that the police find, frankly, sir, we're frankly quite baffled about these. Let's send for the magicians. Perhaps they can get a purchase of what's going on here.
How do you obviously love this sort of genre. How do you do your research? I take it it's important to you doing research on this sort of stuff, is it?
I love the research. I absolutely love history. I love the research. And the danger is, of course, you can get bogged down with the research.
Yeah.
And you can spend 2 days researching.
Yeah. And
not write a word. You know, the paragraph you write as a consequence of 2 days research, yeah, it's informed.
But it means something to you, though. It means something to you to be right, though, obviously.
Yeah, I do like that very much.
Do you think people actually take that in, that this is correct information you're giving, or do you think they care?
I couldn't give a monkeys, I'm sure. But it matters to me.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the real characters that I employ in the book, I mean, in book 2, in the Lazarus Curiosity, Nikola Tesla turns up.
Yeah.
And Lord Kelvin turns up.
Yeah.
And Lily Langtry was in the first book, she's there.
Yeah.
The Prince of Wales,
yeah.
he's there. Queen Victoria and the Munshi, her Indian assistant,
yeah.
about whom a film has just been made.
Yeah.
They pitch up. Bram Stoker, he turns up. And Aleister Crowley, the Black Magician, he's there.
Yeah.
So it's important that those people really existed in 1899 doing what I have them doing in the book. They really existed. You
cross so many different areas of show business in it as well. I take it magic means something to you, though, just the art of magic, it means a lot to you.
The art of magic. The mystery of magic. And, yeah, okay, I do give away some of the tricks in the narrative, as you know.
Yeah.
But you can buy a magic book off the shelf.
I totally agree. I 100% agree. Everybody knows how it's done. That's not what the trick is. It's the stagecraft that really sells it.
The execution of...
Yeah. Completely.
Of the actual illusion.
Yeah, and steampunk is taken off in a big way. It's growing in popularity on a daily basis. All these shops are propping up now, and they've got so much gear in the clothes, the comics, the books, everything that from that genre is coming through. What got you interested in it?
My introduction to steampunk, really, I guess. Yes, I could say reading Jules Verne and H.G. Wells when I was a kid. But latter novels by James P. Blaylock and Tim Powers, and those are the two guys that really coined the steampunk phrase. It was short stuff by those guys. Yeah, that was interesting. What really sold it for me as a kid was watching the 1954 Disney movie 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, yeah, Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas and James Mason.
Yeah.
Subsequently became a ride at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Now,
was Peter Lorre in that one as well?
He was.
Yeah, Peter Lorre.
In a comedy role.
That's right. Yep, I remember it. Yeah.
And Harper Goff designed the submarine, the Nautilus.
Wow, you know that name. How do you know that name?
I've studied this research. 2 days of research.
See, but you and I both love Ray Harryhausen and the meticulous work that went into all that sort of stuff. You know, so does that have a bearing on the way you write as well? Do you think?
Yeah, accuracy. I love describing stuff as accurately as possible, but the fact that it actually happened and it's true to life, in the sense that the situations that Michael and Phoebe find themselves in are true to life.
Yeah.
The crimes that they are investigating aren't necessarily true to life.
But the books aren't actually set in a steampunk world, are they, though, as such?
Not as such, no. And I'm coming to that because my huge story, which is a steampunk story, the first 2 books aren't set in a steampunk world, as you rightly observe. But they will lead to Michael and Phoebe encountering a steampunk world. I don't want to give too much away, talking about parallel universes. Maybe I've given too much away. But It's a slow build-up. I mean, this trilogy will probably run over 4 or 5 books.
Oh, really?
Yes,
really?
Absolutely.
Is it still called a trilogy then, if it's 4 or 5 books?
I like to think so.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. What about readers wanting to be in the books? Actually, their character being in there, is that something that's happening? People requesting to be in there?
Oddly enough, I was in an office, a television office, not long ago, and a friend of ours called Denise Kelly came up and said, I really enjoyed Steampunk and Mirrors. My great-great-uncle was a music hall artist. He was a star in the music hall.
Really?
Yeah. His name was Arthur Tinsley. Could you mention him in your second book? Could you give him a name check? Great idea. Yes, of course I'll give Arthur Tinsley a name check.
Yeah.
So Denise passed me the information that she had on Arthur, who's not a well-known musical artist.
Is there stuff online about him? Can you find? Have you found
There
him?
is very little. I've done a bit more digging.
What sort of artist was he? What did he do?
One of those song and dance joke telly merchants.
Okay, yeah.
One of those all-round guys.
Well, apparently, a lot of singers of the day, as you probably know this anyway, decided to put gags into their act because comics always got more money than the singer.
Absolutely.
So then they'd start billing themselves as a singing comic or the comic singer just to get the extra money up.
Yeah. Arthur's Tinsley story is ultimately very tragic, and Denise went to Australia to visit his grave.
Yeah.
Because he died in Australia at the age of 28 under very tragic circumstances through congenital disease that he had. And that got me thinking. I thought, right, supposing for books 3, 4 and 5, assuming they're good enough to be published, why don't I invite people to send me ideas or relatives who they'd like mentioned in the book? Yeah. And I think that's something I'm going to pursue on the website.
Okay. Now the website it's a great website. You spend a lot of time putting this together. How do you do this yourself?
I'm not tech savvy enough to know how to do that. I've got a very good web designer now called Angela, who's also my proofreader. She's taken it over from Mark Edmonds, Steampunk 1.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
My son who designed the original website. I can't, it's too clever for me. But what I wanted to do with the website, and this was very important in my early discussions with Mark, was I wanted the website to be a behind the scenes of the novel.
Yeah.
You know, on a DVD you get those special features. Yeah. Where you go behind the scenes, watching the director work, and this is what happened, this is how we achieved this effect. I wanted the website to be behind the scenes of the novel. Right. As a consequence, the www.steamspunkandmirrors.com has its own theme music. And I like to think that Steampunk and Mirrors is the first novel to have its own theme music.
I think it's great.
Especially written by John Orchard.
Yeah, no, I think it's wonderful.
So it's those kinds of things, quirky things, coming into novel writing at a slightly different angle. Yeah. Bring it, where I'm bringing showbiz to it or not, I don't know. But it makes it a bit more interesting for me and hopefully the reader. Have you consciously kept away from a romance occurring between Michael and Phoebe? Is that something that's on the cards later on in your book, in your trilogy of 4 or 5 books? A lot of readers have said to me in conversation or in correspondence, wouldn't it be great if they get together? And he's 28, 29, 30, she's about 22. Yeah, there is a frisson of romance there. The only problem at the moment that they both have is that he much prefers older women. Yeah. And so does she. Okay, yeah. That doesn't mean to say that at some point their close relationship won't develop into a romance, but at the moment, let's see what happens. Do you know, this is me passing information to you that you might already know. You know about all the old folklore in the theatre about whistling, you're not supposed to whistle. Yeah. You know about that, it was because they used a lot of local crew from ships. And so, dropping stuff on and mustn't whistling. This is in modern day stuff. I didn't know that. Oh, did you not know that? No, I've got to research that. Yeah, so that's one research about, that you're not allowed to whistle on stage because it means that something's coming in. They're flying something in. The other one is the phrase break a leg. Do you know where that comes from? No. I've tried to find that online and I won't find it online. Help me. The only reason I found it, as I said, I was at the City Varieties in Leeds a few weeks ago, found out break a leg comes from the musical days, where they would have a big bill of a dozen people on the show. Everybody would do like 6-7 minutes. And there wasn't enough work to go back for all the artists. That was a good way of earning a living those days. So they would have a load of people in the wings, people in dressing rooms waiting to go on. If somebody didn't turn up, somebody was ill, then somebody else would actually go on for them. And as you know, on the side of the stage, you've got these flats, what they call flats, piece of scenery, and they're called legs. So
if you were working that night, they would say to you, break a leg, which meant just breaking that area. You step onto the stage, it means you broke the leg. So when somebody said to me, break a leg, it means that you are working that night. That's all it came from. Was I actually thought it was actually physically breaking a leg, and it's not. It's actually breaking the leg of that invisible barrier on stage. So when they say to me, break a leg, it means I just hope you get on tonight, you earn some money.
I never knew any of that. Can I use that in the next
Absolutely.
book?
I want you to use it in the next 3 or 4 books of the trilogy.
Credit you in the acknowledgement,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So can I just say, to finish up, Steam, Smoke and Mirrors 2, The Lazarus Curiosity, it's published by Caffeine Nights, written by Colin Edmonds. Go and get it, download it, buy it. You won't be sorry. It's a lovely book, and he's a lovely man. Look at his little face, so soft. Please buy it. You'll enjoy it.